Hello，你好，欢迎回来，Welcome back. Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger on December 14th, 2022. You guys didn't see it, but there was a very fuzzy kitty cat that just passed by behind the camera. Yeah, Aslan is here to inspect to see what's going on here. So quickly now, I've been mentioning this in the past couple of videos, so I'll be starting my holiday, Christmas holiday, as of tomorrow. So the show will be officially off air for a month and a half, and then we'll be back. The show will go on. So if in the meanwhile you want to keep up with my activity, then you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter with at Johnny Tiger 1981 at Johnny Tiger 1981. I will still post little tidbits here and there on the channel during the holiday, maybe. If it happens, it's nice little bonuses. If it doesn't happen, well, I'm on holiday, so yeah. Uh, so anyway, if you guys don't see a video tomorrow or you don't see a video Friday, and don't start sending me email and ask if I am okay, if anything's wrong, if something happened. Okay? Everything's great. I'm on holiday. We all need a break once in a while. Hey, when you think about it, how long have we been keeping this channel going on? This channel has been going strong with daily video ever since the beginning of the pandemic. So I believe it was the April of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we've been going strong for over 2 years. Quite amazing for a blind guy with a camera who hardly ever know what he's doing. So yeah, I got to congratulate myself. I give myself a good pat on the back. Good job. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, oh, okay, okay, getting too old for that. Uh, so, Wisdom Wednesday. Last week we talked about some of the must-read, the greatest literature of Chinese people in Chinese history, and I have mentioned, uh, not in detail, but I mentioned a little bit of details about each one of those books that I've mentioned. I'm not even going to say books I've recommended because I'm not the one who said these are the greatest book in Chinese history. These are fact. That this is not even at this point. It's not even opinion. You go to university, you go to school in China or Taiwan, and on the exam paper, they will ask you what are the four greatest book in Chinese history, and if you don't know the answer, you will fail the exam question. So, like I said, it's not a matter of opinion. This is actually something that is there, set in stone at this point. Um, Now, during last episode, I mentioned that, especially for those of you who read Romance of the Three Kingdoms, or you think you know Romance of the Three Kingdoms because you played Dynasty Warrior. You played Samurai Warriors. You play Kings of Glory. Uh, there are a lot of games built upon the history, the platform, the story of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that will say they know the story. They know what happened. And I caution you guys, even if you read the book itself, Romance of the Three Kingdoms at its core, it's historical fiction. What that means is it's made to be dramatic. There were a lot of facts that were changed to help the story flow better, because in the in the fictitious world, uh, especially with war and killings and murders and mayhem, you need good versus evil for people to have a sense of morality and a sense of rooting for the right side and cheering for the good guys. And there have to be that very simple formula of hero versus villain. However, in real history, a lot of time it's not like that. A lot of things, if you play the game, if you read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, if you watch the movie, your idea of what actually happened, who did what, may be very, very skewed from historical fact. So today I'm going to give you guys a little example of that. We're going to probably dig into more of it in the future because there are a lot of really interesting facts that were changed for the book that were definitely not how it went down in history. But today I'm going to give you guys one of these examples. The death of Hua Tuo. Who is Hua Tuo? Hua Tuo was, I think I even mentioned him before. Hua Tuo was the grandfather, the founding grandfather of Chinese medicine. Okay, all the herbalists, all the Chinese medicine, like you see today, they pay homage to Hua Tuo. Hua Tuo was the first doctor, the best doctor, the one who wrote China's first ever medical journal, categorizing how to cure things, how to operate on people, how to perform open heart surgery, how to perform even brain surgery, and so on and so on and so on. So popularly, uh, especially people who read Romance of the Three Kingdoms, people who grow up knowing the story of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, know that Hua Tuo was killed by the warlord Cao Cao. And the let me give you guys a short version of how it's written in the book, okay? Because if we have to sit here and just reread all the passages, it would take all day. But luckily, it's not that complicated the way it was laid out in the book. The way it was laid out in the book is in his older year when the warlord Cao Cao, which he was the warlord of the Wei kingdom, as some of you remember, in three kingdoms, there's kingdom of Wei, kingdom of Wu, and kingdom of Shu. Okay, now in the book, Shu was always portrayed as a good guy, and the kingdom of Wu was always portrayed as the sometimes good guy, sometimes bad guy. They were like the in between, and the kingdom of Wei was portrayed to be the most evil. Okay, uh, so Cao Cao, who was leading the kingdom of Wei in his senior year, was constantly having really, really bad migraines. Sometimes these migraines would be so bad that he would have to stay laying down for days without being able to do his lordly duties and lead his troop or sign papers or give command. That's how bad it was getting. So Cao Cao, knowing that he couldn't carry on like this, decided to send for the best doctor in the world. Now, keep in mind when I say in the world, in this case, it's in China. At that time, as far as most Chinese people were concerned, China was the world. So Cao Cao decided to send for Hua Tuo, the best doctor, pretty much the only doctor at that time. All the other guys that they were like faith healers and witch doctors and medicine men and stuff like that. But Hua Tuo actually was a real doctor. He really knew his stuff. Now keep in mind, all this went down in like year uh 103 or somewhere around that year, between year 100 and year 200. Uh, so this is like like 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years history. Okay, so keep that in mind because the technology back then was obviously non-existent and medical knowledge was very precious. So Cao Cao, after being plagued by this migraine, on and off, he sent his people to go fetch Hua Tuo, the best doctor in China. And Upon examining the warlord, Hua Tuo told Cao Cao, "You have too much pressure building up in your head, so what I have to do is I need to cut open your head and let the pressure out, and this will alleviate the headache." Now, we already know, okay, today, that is totally doable. That is definitely like a lot of people had that done when something similar happened. Okay, the swelling of the brain, too much pressure inside the skull. That's what they do. They drill the hole at the top of the skull. They cut into the skull and they let the pressure out. So this to us who know that this has been done for many, many years, this sounds totally logical. And it's quite amazing that 2,000 years ago, a doctor in China knew about this. However, the warlord Cao Cao uh, has always been a very suspicious person. Can you imagine? I mean, leading one of the greatest kingdom at that time, and he has a lot of enemies, and a lot of people tried to murder him. He had one of his own medical staff tried to poison him with poison poison-laced medicine. So um, Cao Cao's being suspicious was not unfounded or was not unwarranted. He definitely had cause to be suspicious because there has been many assassination attempts up to that point. So Cao Cao, obviously, he's a warlord. He's been a warlord his whole life. He had no idea what's possible, what's not possible medically. So when Hua Tuo told him, "I need to cut open your head," Cao Cao got angry and he said, "Are you playing me for a fool? You think a person can still live after you cut open their head?" So Cao Cao told his guards to take Hua Tuo outside and chop open his head with an axe. And Cao Cao said, "I'll cut open your head, and if you still live after that, I'll let you operate on me." Well, needless to say, Hua Tuo didn't survive. Uh, what he had in mind was cutting open the skull was probably very different with what Cao Cao did to him. Uh, so this was the story told in Romance of the Three Kingdoms in the book how Hua Tuo, the first doctor, the perfect doctor, the only doctor, the grandfather of all doctors, died at the hand of a suspicious and unreasonable warlord, Cao Cao. But did it really go down like that? Historically, Hua Tuo uh, did get killed by Cao Cao. There's no getting around that. Cao Cao did kill the great doctor Hua Tuo. But it wasn't quite as described in the book. So today, let me give you the historical fact, the real version of what happened to Hua Tuo, the greatest doctor in Chinese history. In Cao Cao's old age, he started having migraines, and sometimes these migraines would be so severe that it would keep him down for days at a time. So, hearing that, uh, there was this great doctor, Hua Tuo, who developed a great new technique in alleviating pressure inside people's head by cutting their head open. Cao Cao sent his guard to go fetch Hua Tuo, and he wanted to invite Hua Tuo to come live in his palace, and he would love for Hua Tuo to try this operation on him. When the guard got to Hua Tuo's place, Hua Tuo told the guard, I'm really sorry, but I can't go with you right now. You see, I've been seeing so many patients, and one of them caught some nasty disease and passed it on to me. So I'm sick, and so if I go live in the palace, I would bring the sickness into the palace. So the guard came back to report to the warlord Cao Cao, saying that the doctor's sick. And Cao Cao said, "Oh, that's too bad. I want you guys to bring 2 wagons of food and gold and silver to the doctor, so he doesn't have to worry about making a living while he's sick. He can just stay home and rest up. He needs to rest. So bring him food, bring him gold, bring him silver, anything he needs. Tell him, don't worry about it. When he get better, he can come treat me." So wagons of food and wagons of gold and silver were sent to Huatuo, while Huatuo stayed at home. Was Huatuo really sick? No, he wasn't. Huatuo did not want to go operate on Cao Cao for one simple reason, that he has developed this technique. He has been talking about this technique where he can open up someone's skull to operate. He has been writing about this technique, but to this date, he had no practical experience. Okay, so Hua Tuo has been bragging to everybody that he knew this technique where he can cut open someone's head and the headache would go away. To this point, this was all theory. It was just a theory that he believed it could be done, but he had never actually performed it. When you think about it, it's not hard to believe. I mean, who would really want to let him try back then? Especially when there's no uh, anesthesis or any kind of medicine to make you numb the pain and stuff like that. Like when you think about some doctor going to cut open your head, yeah, 2,000 years ago, I'm not surprised that Hua Tuo couldn't find anyone to let him try it. And now Cao Cao, the warlord, wanted him to try. Well, Hua Tuo was a smart man, and he understood this was not a good idea. If you succeed, then great. But if you fail, most likely you and your entire family will be put to death. Right? It's not like today where you can sign a waiver. Well, if you go through with this surgery and something go wrong, it's not the responsibility of the doctor. No, back then you couldn't do that. Not especially not with a warlord like Cao Cao. With a warlord like Cao Cao, if you fail the surgery and he dies, then his people is going to kill your entire family. So Hua Tuo did not want to perform the surgery, but he was scared to say no to Cao Cao, because saying no to a king or a warlord was always a bad idea, as you can imagine. So he came up with this cockamamie idea. I'm going to tell Cao Cao I'm sick, and maybe he'll forget about it after a while. He did not count on Cao Cao's being so generous, sending gold and silver and food and blanket, and keep sending people to come visit him, making sure he's okay, making sure he has everything he needed. He did not count on this, and now he's in a very uncomfortable place because obviously now it's too late to go and tell Cao Cao, I'm sorry, I lied to you. Yeah, you can't do that. Um, so Hua Tuo stayed home, played sick for almost a year, and finally he couldn't stay home anymore. He started to get really bored, so he started seeing patients again and go out with friends and go out drinking, and to do whatever he needed to do. And Cao Cao's messengers found out and reported back to Cao Cao, "Hey, the doctor is feeling great. The doctor look great. He's been going out." And Cao Cao said, "Great. Okay, quick, go fetch him. Oh, I really need him to check out what's wrong with my head." So here came the messenger knocking on Huatuo's door, and Huatuo said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Can you tell the warlord Cao Cao that yes, I'm feeling better, but I still can't go because you see, my wife is pregnant, and I need to stay here, uh, for my son to be born." So the messenger returned to Cao Cao and said, "Yeah, the doctor said he's feeling better, but his wife is pregnant." And Cao Cao said, "Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's very important for a father to be there for his family. Make sure to continue supplying him with food and gold and silver. Make sure the baby will be born without complication. And tell him to take his time. And after the baby's born and everything settled down, then he can come treat me." Okay, let me just quickly pause here and let's look at the real account of what's going on here. Like, Cao Cao was not this suspicious and vicious and unreasonable guy that was portrayed in the book. In the real account, Cao Cao has been nothing but understanding, very, very generous. And it makes sense because he wanted the doctor to come treat him. He wanted the best doctor to come help him. So obviously he would be generous and understanding and supportive. So up to this point, we can see that Cao Cao had not done anything wrong. The real problem here is Hua Tuo is lying to him. Okay, back to our story. Um, 16 months, almost a year and a half later, Cao Cao, after another bout of migraine, said to his messenger, "I I need to I need you to go check on the good doctor. I mean, it's been over a year, so the baby must be born, and I I I don't know how much longer I can wait. I need you guys to go fetch the doctor." So here came the guards and the messenger again, and Hua Tuo again said, "I need you to go tell Mr. Cao Cao, and I'm so sorry. Uh, my yes, the baby is fine. My wife gave birth without any complication, and thank Cao Cao for all his contribution and gold and silver and food, keeping us in good standing. But now my wife is sick." I think any kind of idiot by this point would start to be a bit suspicious, right? So, of course, Cao Cao could be the greatest warlord in the Three Kingdom time. He was no idiot. He started to get a whiff of something fishy going on here. So Cao Cao told his messenger, "I want you to go station yourself near Hua Tuo's home. You to go just hang out near Hua Tuo's home. Don't announce yourself. Don't bring any military personnel with you. Don't bring the guards. Just you. Just go. And I want you to pay attention to Hua Tuo's household. If his wife really is sick, then I want you to arrange for the gold and silver and food to be doubled. Okay? Because I would be wrong in suspecting him. So if there's really something wrong with his wife, double everything. If his wife is not sick, then bring the guard, arrest them, kill them." The messenger went and found a nice little shack near Hua Tuo's home and started living there as a neighbor and paying attention to Hua Tuo's activities. And a few weeks later, the messenger reported back to Cao Cao and said, "Your Lordship, Your Highness, I've been watching Hua Tuo's household. His wife seems to be doing great. Every day they are in the yard exercising. They're in the yard playing music, they're dancing, they have big parties over at their house. Nothing seems to be wrong with his wife. Cao Cao was very angry, so he ordered his people to arrest Hua Tuo and his wife and put them to death. That, my friend, was a true account. That's actually what went down. So did Cao Cao kill Hua Tuo? He did. He did. He totally did. But did he kill Hua Tuo without proper cause, without just? Nah, not so much so. I mean, honestly, if I was Cao Cao, I probably would kill Hua Tuo by this point as well. I mean, if you didn't want to treat me, you tell me. You lied to me and took my money, took my food for the last 2 years, and you're still lying to me. Yeah, not cool, man. Apparently, China's best doctor, first ever doctor, was a bit of an a-hole. I mean, we can look at it in that Hua Tuo really was cornered because he didn't want to operate on Cao Cao and he was afraid to say no. So that's why he came up with this cockamamie plan. And once he started telling a lie, he had to tell more lies to cushion it and build it up. So it was a very tragic story, very tragic event. However, Cao Cao the warlord in this instance was definitely not portrayed uh, properly, adequately in the book. In the book, he was just an angry old man who was suspicious and didn't want to trust the doctor. In reality, he was a very kind warlord who trusted the doctor a little bit too much, and then when he found out he got tricked, got angry, and Hua Tuo lost his head, I guess. So this concludes this episode on one of the little discrepancies of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms with real events. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I'll be sure to entertain you guys with more upon my return in January. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and have a safe holiday. 谢谢 and 再见.